All right, welcome to today's class. In today's class, we are going to be dealing on experiment 11 of chemistry practical, and that is qualitative analysis. Qualitative analysis. All right, so before we proceed, if you've not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe now and ensure you like this video. You can also share this video to your friends. And if you have a question, endeavor to leave your question in the comment section of this video. All right, now let's proceed. All right, this is experiment 11, qualitative analysis of inorganic compounds. And this is the first page in experiment 11. We don't need much from this page. All right, so there are 4 cations that were tested for in the laboratory. And the first one is copper 2 ion. The second one is aluminum ion. And the third one is lead ion. The fourth one is zinc ion. Take note of this. These are the 4 cations tested for. And also there are 2 anions tested for, which are chloride ion and sulfate ion. Now we have been talking of ion. What is a cation and anion? A cation is simply a positively charged ion, and then an anion is a negatively charged ion. So when you see minus here, that tells you that it is an ion. And then when you see plus at the top, it tells you that it is cation. All right, let's look at the reagent to be used. The reagent. For cation, there are 3 different reagents, which are the aqueous sodium hydroxide, the aqueous ammonia or ammonium hydroxide, and sodium carbonate. So these are the 3 reagents that were used for the cation. Now let's look at the reagent that were used for the anions. For the anions, the reagents are barium nitrate, silver nitrate, and nitric acid. When you say something is insoluble or a substance is insoluble, what do you mean? That tells you that the substance cannot dissolve. It cannot what? Dissolve. And then when you say something is soluble, that simply tells you that the substance can dissolve. All right, take note of this because we are going to be using this in this practical. We are going to be using this word in this practical, soluble and insoluble. And also take note of this. Aluminium ion, which is Al3+, lead ion, which is Pb, and then 2+, and zinc ion. All of them form white precipitate. Take note of this. They all form white precipitate. They form white precipitate. And then also take note of this. Copper 2 ion does not dissolve in drops. It does not dissolve in what? In drops. That's for copper 2 ion, it only dissolves in excess. Let me write it down. It only dissolves in what? In excess. So copper 2 ion only dissolves in excess. All right, so let's look at exercise 1. In exercise 1, we are told the following exercises assume you are familiar with the simple method of qualitative analysis or inorganic compounds just discussed. For each exercise, state the letter assigned to the substance under investigation and then divide your page into 3 columns: test, observation, and inference. Now, sample A is a simple compound. You did this practical in the chemistry lab. The first one here says, heat a small portion of sample A in a glass test tube. Identify any gas evolved, and which you did in the chemistry lab. The second one here says, make a solution of sample A. Make a solution of what? Sample A. Remember, we are told to create a column, three columns. One is test, the second one is observation, and the third one is inference. All right, so these are the columns. The first one here is test, the second one is observation, and the third one is inference. All right, so the first thing we are told is to make a solution of sample A. To make a solution simply means you should mix it with water. That's mix sample A with water. So we have here sample A plus what? Water. Water is H2O. If you do this in the laboratory, the observation you will get is a clear solution. That means you can see through it. Sample A plus H2O. You will have a clear solution. And then what is the inference? Inference simply means evidence. So the evidence is sample A is soluble in water. So sample A is what? Soluble in what? H2O. All right. So let's consider the next one. The next one here says test solution A with all this. The first one, dilute HNO. All right, so the next question here says test solution A with what? Dilute nitric acid, HNO3, which is nitric acid. So we have here solution A plus what? Nitric acid. And the observation is clear soluble solution. Clear soluble solution. All right, so we have 2 anions here. The second one is sulfate ion. So let's write sulfate ion. So we have here sulfate ion. SO4 and then raised power 2 minus is what? Is present. All right, so in the laboratory, when you mix solution A to nitric acid, whatever you see with your eyes is your observation. And from your observation, you can now write down your inference. Remember that inference is the evidence, the possible evidence gotten from your observation. All right, let's look at the third one. The third one is solution A. Solution A plus what? Sodium hydroxide. That's the third one. Solution A plus sodium hydroxide. So if you mix solution A or dilute solution A with sodium hydroxide, it will give you white precipitate. White precipitate, insoluble, white precipitate, insoluble, insoluble in excess. So to give you white precipitate, insoluble in what? Excess. All right, so let's eliminate this. So that's what it will give you. And then, since you observe that white solution A plus sodium hydroxide brings out white precipitate, insoluble in excess, that means the inference should be what? The inference should be, all right, so I'm going to write this down. Solution A plus sodium hydroxide, if you dilute both of them, it would give you white precipitate, insoluble in excess. That's what you are going to observe in the laboratory. And since you have white precipitate, insoluble in excess, that means your inference, which is the evidence, should be what? It should be aluminum ion, lead ion, and what? Zinc ion. All right, so the fourth one here is what? The fourth one is solution A plus what? Solution A plus ammonium hydroxide. That's the fourth one. And then your observation, that's what you are going to observe when you dilute solution A with ammonium hydroxide. It will give you white precipitate. Insoluble in what? In excess. And then your inference, which is the evidence gotten from your observation, should be what? It should be zinc ion. So you have here zinc ion present. Now let's consider the last one for sample A. Solution A plus barium nitrate. Your observation, if you dilute solution A with barium nitrate, it will give you bubble evolved. And what? And a dense white precipitate is formed. A dense white precipitate is what? Is formed. Write it this way. And then from your observation, what is your inference? So your inference is sulfate ion. Sulfate ion. This is your inference. All right, so fill your manual like this. Fill it exactly like this. All right, so the next one is conclusion. Conclusion. Your conclusion, the solution of sample A. The solution of sample A is zinc sulfate. Zinc what? Sulfate. That's the solution of sample A. So we have here zinc sulfate. All right, kindly fill your manual like this. All right, let's consider sample B. Sample B. We have here test, observation, and what? Inference. The first one says mix sample B plus water, or make a solution of sample B, which is H2O plus sample B. So if you make a solution of sample B, what will be your observation? The observation is clear blue solution. And your inference should be soluble salt. Soluble salt present. The next one says dilute solution B to what? Sodium hydroxide. So we have here solution B plus what? Sodium hydroxide. Your observation should be what? Blue precipitate. Blue precipitate formed. And what should be your inference? Your inference should be copper 2 ion present. The third one is solution B diluted with ammonium solution. So solution B plus ammonium solution. Solution B plus ammonium solution. So what should be your observation? Your observation should be blue precipitate. Blue precipitate formed. And then your inference should be what? Copper 2 ion present. Copper 2 ion present. The fourth one is solution B plus what? Plus nitric acid. So we have here solution B plus what? Nitric acid. What should be your observation? Your observation should be blue precipitate or The observation should be pale blue precipitate. And then your inference should be copper 2 ion present. So copper 2 ion present. And then the fifth one, it says solution B plus silver solution. All right, if you check the fourth question there, you will see that it has dilute nitric acid followed by silver nitrate solution. So we write here solution B plus what? Silver nitrate solution. Silver nitrate solution. What should be your observation? The observation should be white precipitate. Turning what? Turning gray purple. So white precipitate turning gray purple. And then your inference should be what? Your inference should be chloride ion. So we have Cl raised to power minus present. Chloride ion present. All right, so let's look at the conclusion. Conclusion. All right, so the solution of sample B is what? CuCl2, which is copper 2 chloride. It is copper 2 chloride. Copper 2 chloride. So this is the solution of sample B.